Sweet. Fantastic. We are officially live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Legendary Chiropractor podcast and Facebook Lives. I am so pumped for tonight's episode. We are sitting down with a guy and a doctor who you've probably seen all over Facebook. I know he's done quite a few interviews with Jim Chester, and I know he's been around the block when it comes to getting and promoting his technique out there to the masses. So if you haven't seen him, this is Dr. Peter Goldman. He's out in San Francisco, California, and he is all about zone technique, zone healing, and if you don't know what that is, we're going to break it all down for you tonight with Dr. Pete, and I'm so stoked for all of the value, all of the content that he's going to bring to us. But first, I want to take a brief moment to thank our sponsors, and then we're going to get right into the content, and I am going to share this all over the place. Rock on, Doc. Let's do it. To Inspire Women is the elite boutique coaching company for chiropractors who are looking to live life and run business in a way that is personal, unique, and authentic. They focus on business systems and money mindset mastery so you can pay down debt, be more profitable, and serve more people. Their goal is to empower you to achieve success by your own rules and your own definition. Head to toinspirewomen.com now because they know there's a better way. Chiro HD, superior cloud-based practice management software. Chiro HD is a user-friendly, all-in-one EHR solution built with one mission: to help you run your practice like a boss. Learn more at chirohd.com. Total Clinic Solutions is your go-to source for purchasing both brand new and refurbished chiropractic equipment, as well as phone support for repairs and maintenance. Call Derek and allow him to combine your wishes and his 23 years of chiropractic equipment expertise to find what's best for you and your patients at 704-622-4089 or head to totalclinicsolutions.com now. It's time that chiropractors look beyond spinal alignments and measure the nerve connections that keep our patients feeling strong and performing at their peak. CLA designed the Insight scanning technologies to transform exams and generate powerful reports that give practitioners the certainty they have been searching for. Learn how CLA has partnered with practices around the world by going to insightcla.com. Spinal hygiene products are designed to educate your patients on the importance of lifetime spinal care. To learn more about how spinal hygiene products work and to download the patient education material for free, visit spinalhygiene.co. Again, that's spinalhygiene.co. Easily share your passion for chiropractic and look good doing it with Above Down Apparel, offering a premium lineup of principled apparel that's impossibly soft, sustainably sourced, and chiropractic AF. Visit abovedown.co and follow them on Instagram to learn more and score yourself some sweet chiro swag. Sked is the all-in-one system that allows for amazing control and flexibility of your scheduling. Yes, your next new hire. Every aspect of when and where you service your customers is at your command. Sked is tightly integrated with your existing EHR system. This software was made by a chiropractor specifically for chiropractic. No joke. Go check out their latest care plan feature by heading to go.sked.life/legendarypod. Health Business Builders covers every aspect of building a health business both online and in a brick and mortar environment. Dr. Dan Sullivan and Dr. Dave Toohill and their team will help you on a regular basis to develop an in-depth strategy, plan, and accountability to not only assemble a plan, but also make it happen. Head to healthbusinessbuilders.com so they can help you get the results you never thought were possible. Thank you for allowing this brief disruption to take place. And now back to the program. Rock on, Dr. Pete. All right, so here's what we're going to do to start this off. Please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, how you got into chiropractic, and why are you now exploring the world, traveling the world, and teaching people about this specific technique? Go ahead, Doc.
Okay. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. I'm going to call you Dr. Johnny. You should call yourself doctor. If you're a student, when I was a chiropractic student, when I was in prereqs, I wrote in all my books, Dr. Peter Goldman, because one day you're going to graduate, they're going to start calling you doctor. You better be used to it. So, Dr. Johnny, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
I like your enthusiasm, and I know you're going to go far in this world. So, let me just say a few things to answer your question. Well, I'm born and raised in New York City. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. And I grew up in a kind of unique family in that we didn't go to medical doctors. My doctor was a chiropractor. So that's kind of an interesting way to grow up, especially at the time I was growing up in New York. But it was a great way to grow up. And I really never went to MDs for pretty much anything. And my doctor was just a chiropractor for the most part. So I grew up just believing or thinking or knowing that chiropractic could pretty much help with anything. I mean, unless, God forbid someone needs stitches or they have like a burst appendix or something like that. Obviously, you go to, the emergency room and get your life saved. But outside of that, I grew up in a environment where chiropractic was just what you did to be healthy, or one of the components of being healthy. That's number one. Number two, I kind of got inspired by my chiropractor. Just he was a great guy, and I feel like I was not raised by him because I have excellent parents. It's just that I was around him so much, and I was a pretty athletic kid, and I did a lot of rough stuff and was banged around quite a bit, so I would just get adjusted for that stuff. Although even though I was a healthy kid, I saw in his office people coming to him for anything and everything. So I just was under the impression that's what chiropractic was. Not to spend too much time on this, but I didn't think I would be a chiropractor as much as I love chiropractic. And actually, one kind of interesting thing, which I think you find kind of cool, by the time I was 16 or 17 or maybe 18, I probably had referred about 50 people to him, which is pretty unique. I don't mean just telling people, because anyone can tell anyone. I probably had 50 adults through that door. And, sometimes adults don't listen to 16, 17-year-olds. But I was so enthused about my chiropractor, I had like 50 adults in his office. I was like his, one of his main referrers. So that's how much I love chiropractic, although I didn't think I would really do it. I don't know why I didn't think I would do it. I just didn't. And I went to college in Boston. I was an economics major. I come from a family of very successful business people, and I grew up in a business environment. So I was an economics major at a very excellent economics program in Boston. I graduated college, moved back to New York City, worked for 4 years, and I was like, I want to be a chiropractor. So I went back to chiropractic school. I went to Life East in Georgia, and that's where you are, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I went to Marietta. I went there for 4 years, and I know you have a lot of students watching, so I'm going to tell you kind of a cool story, okay?
Yep.
So I'm in school, and I'm doing what you guys are doing. I'm taking the classes, different doctors come through. DE comes to town, and when DE comes to town, they send the DE doctors, into the classrooms, or at least when I was there, they did. The DE doctors would come in the classroom and talk to us. So I was a little exposed to like the DE philosophy, or a lot of exposed to the DE philosophy. Sid Williams was, of course, the founder, and he was there when I was there. So I'd see Sid speak at assembly quite a bit. It was kind of sad because I felt like a lot of the students almost made fun of him. They'd make fun of him when he would talk. And I wasn't actually his biggest fan, but I certainly was going to respect him. So I always paid attention when he spoke, and I always respected him fully, even though I wasn't really a DE guy. I definitely respected him. So anyways, I was in school, and this technique would come, and that technique. And I was a very enthused student, and I was a very curious person, as I still am. So I went to all the clubs. I went, even in prereq starting, I went to the Mopal Club, the Gonstead Club. I checked out Network, Upper Cervical, AK, SOT. I mean, I was like majorly into Thompson, freaking Toughness. You probably never heard of that. I was like ravenous, just checking every technique out, like really researching them. CBP, man, I was like going to CBP doctors' offices to observe them. I don't do CBP now, but at the time I really thought it was cool. I was like really checking everything out. And I noticed something, Dr. Johnny, I noticed something, which is that when I went to the Gonstead Club, they made fun of motion palpation. They were like making fun of it. And when I went to the CBP Club, they were making fun of Gonstead. And when I went to the Upper Cervical Club, they were making fun of everybody. And when I went to the network doctors and the network people, they said anyone adjusting bones without preparing the meninges first is just stupid. So I, was like, what the hell's going on here? I mean, they all can't be right, they all can't be wrong, and none of them agree. And especially, I saw Don Harrison. I don't think he's alive anymore, rest in peace. But Don Harrison was the founder of CBP. I went and saw him speak, and he definitely made fun of every other technique. He said every other technique was garbage, and he explained why they were garbage. And I'm obviously not saying they are. I'm just quoting him and trying to give you the perspective I was coming from as a student, which can be rather confusing when Don Harrison founded CBP and he tells you that upper cervical is garbage and motion palpation is garbage and Gonstead is garbage, and he did right in front of me, and he explained why, which I'm not going to take our time doing, although I remember what he said, not saying he's correct, but I remember his reasoning. Anyway, so at some point, Dr. Johnny, I said to him, I don't know if I had like an epiphany or whatever. I said, you know what? It's all about results. Like, I can't sit here and like listen to this argument and that argument and this philosophy and that philosophy. Some very straight, you might call chiropractors, might say that you can't even discuss symptoms with patients. So if a patient would come in and tell them they had high blood pressure, they might say, well, I mean, I know you have high blood pressure, but I'm a chiropractor. I can't even discuss symptoms. Well, D.D. Palmer, who's the founder of chiropractic, who's the only person who can define chiropractic, D.D. Palmer has a book called Chiropractor's Adjuster, written in 1910. I've read every word. And he has a 55-page glossary with probably 500 diseases and their symptoms and what bone to adjust to fix it. So you can't discuss symptoms with patients. Okay, I don't know what you're doing, but that's not chiropractic. It's something, and you can do it. I don't really give a damn. But the founder of chiropractic is the only one who can say what chiropractic is and what it isn't. And he is, of course, not treating disease, not treating symptoms. He's adjusting the cause, of course, which is self-fixation in the chiropractic context. But he discussed symptoms freely. In fact, he lists them in his book. And then if you look at old ads by DD and DJ, they list all these diseases, or they call them diseases or whatever, and talked about adjusting the cause to fix them. So anyway, so I was, searching and going to these different clubs of adjusting clubs and philosophies, but I realized it was all about results. So I had this experience, and here it is. So I called my chiropractor back in Brooklyn when I was in pre-rex, and I said, Doc, I know that people come to you, most people come to you for non-musculoskeletal stuff. But when I visit all these doctors, the DE doctors, the CBP doctors, all these doctors who were kind of coming to the clubs and talking sometimes, I say, hey, can I go to your office? They say, yeah, sure. And I'm like, all these doctors talking a big game with DE and everything else, every freaking person in their office is there for neck and back pain. So I said to myself, let me call my doc back in New York, because, of course, he's a master at neck and back pain, but most of his patients come to him for other stuff like their liver, their gallbladder, their pancreas, their reproductive organs, their immune system, their glands in general, their lungs, their digestive organs, their intestines, their blood sugar, their blood pressure. That's real chiropractic. That's D.D. Palmer chiropractic, and that's what my chiropractor was doing. So I call him and I'm like, hey, what's going on? So he says, look, I learned from Dr. Thurman Fleet, probably the greatest chiropractor ever. Yes, that includes Gonstead, BJ, DD, everybody. But we don't have to go into that. But Dr. Thurman Fleet practiced in San Antonio, Texas, 1930s, 40s, etc. The police had to reroute traffic patterns in order to accommodate the people coming to his office, just when he was open. Wouldn't you want to practice like that, Dr. Johnny?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, today my hours are 1 to 5, and the police are freaking rerouting traffic. That's where he was at. So he taught my chiropractor, and that's why my chiropractor was such a freaking stud. So anyway, my chiropractor goes, look, Pete, there's another chiropractor who learned from Dr. Fleet. He's not in Marietta. He's in a place called Tyrone, Georgia. It's like 45-minute drive from Marietta. Why don't you call him? He's been practicing for 40 years. He learned from Dr. Fleet. He knows what I know. Call him. So I call him up. I'm still in pre-rex. His wife answers the phone. She's like, oh, yeah, his name is Dr. Brown. Hey, Dr. Brown, he's kind of semi-retired. He's been practicing over 40 years, but he practices out of the house. Come to the house this Sunday. So I drive out on Sunday. I'm in prereqs. He's to me, an old man with a Southern accent. I'm not used to a Southern accent. So he's very nice, and he's explaining things to me. And I don't understand a freaking word he's saying. He's talking in these very high metaphysical terms. I can't even follow what he's saying. But I liked him. And then he said to me, do you want to understand why healing works when it works and why healing doesn't work when it doesn't work, regardless of the technique of chiropractic, or regardless if it's chiropractic or acupuncture or osteopathy or homeopathy or naturopathy? I'm like, yeah, I want to understand that. So he starts explaining it to me. I don't understand a freaking word this guy's saying, but I liked him. I wanted to understand what he was saying. I just couldn't follow it because I didn't have the brain cells established for that as a prereq student. So anyway, so he's, talking to me, and then he says, do you want to get adjusted? I'm like, yeah. So my chiropractor back in New York was like a big guy, and I was used to kind of like a hard adjustment. And this guy was like kind of old and like little. So I was thinking like, my prereq mind, I'm like, how's this guy going to even generate power and speed? I laid down, this guy gave me like one of the best cervicals I've ever gotten in my life. And I'm like, how the hell did this guy do this? So I'm just kind of in a daze. I'm like, this guy just gave me like the most deep metaphysical healing philosophy talk ever. I didn't understand a word he said, and he gave me one of the best adjustments ever. And I remember thinking, well, Pete, that was a nice way to start your 4 years here. And, you'll probably never see him again, but that's cool. And I was leaving, and I go, hey, Doc, I want to thank you so much. And he kind of patted me on the back. He's like, come back next Sunday. So, Johnny, I went every Sunday all 4 years.
That's awesome.
That's where I learned what I know. I didn't go any more to anything else. I just kept learning from this guy. And he was a student of Dr. Fleet. He was teaching me what was called zone therapy. Now, zone therapy was created by Dr. Fleet in 1931. Now, Johnny, listen to this, because what I'm going to tell you is like heavy duty. I think I told you when we spoke before. I don't remember if I told you, but your students would be like, oh, shit. And your doctors will also say, oh, shit. So listen carefully. When I was a student, I'm going every Sunday learning from this master. You've heard the saying, at the foot of the master. I was sitting at the foot of the master. By the time I was in 4th, 5th, 6th quarter, I was getting better results than all the doctors in my school. So by the time I was in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th quarter, half the freaking faculty was getting adjusted by me. Now, you never hear of students adjusting faculty unless they're friends or you're practicing on them or you need credit in the outpatient clinic. You don't have doctors coming to you. I had the most prominent, well-known docs at Life in the early 90s coming to my freaking apartment to get adjusted, day in and day out. Matter of fact, I'm not going to say his name, I think he's still there. One of the most famous or prominent docs there was bringing his kids to me to get adjusted when I was in 9th quarter. So that's that. So that's how I learned originally. And then I've had many influences over the years, healing, chiropractic, metaphysical, martial arts, otherwise. And I've taken the foundation of zone therapy that I learned in 1993, and I've combined it with a lot of other stuff, and I altered it a little bit and made zone technique. And that's what I do, zone technique. And then just to kind of answer all your questions in one, the last thing I think you said is how did I end up, spreading it around the world. So about 2 years ago, something happened, and I'll tell you what happened. So Dr. Johnny, I got to tell you, I have people flying into me from all over the world. You don't hear that much. You just don't. You just don't. I don't care if you're a chiropractor. I don't care what you do. I have people flying into me from 25 different countries in the last 25 years, 20 whatever years it is. I'd say not 2 weeks goes by without someone flying into me. Even now, I have someone flying in from Singapore in a few days. Any day now. So I also, Dr. Johnny, would say, and I think you'd agree, that most chiropractors, their patient base lives in about half-hour radius of their office, maybe 45 minutes. They may have a couple patients who just love them, who drive 2 hours, but most of them, Johnny, I have about 80 to 100 patients who live 4 hours from me. They're driving 8 hours for 2 to 3 minutes with me. That's 100 people driving 8 hours for 2 to 3 minutes with me. Because the results, you don't hear that. So about 2 years ago, I woke up one day, I said, you know what? It's so gratifying that people, A, I have this huge group who comes far to see me driving. B, people flying in from all over the world regularly. C, 80% of my patients on the entrance form come for non-musculoskeletal stuff. Now, I'm not saying they came for neck and back and I told them the chiropractic story and I convinced them about wellness. No, I mean on the freaking entrance form, why am I here to see you, Dr. Pete? Oh, they were told they need their gallbladder removed and they don't want to get it removed. So they want me to take care of that for them and balance their body so their gallbladder could be healthy. They took a blood test and their liver doesn't work. They want to have a healthy liver. They were told they need a hysterectomy. They don't want to get one. You know, this is what I see. Chiropractors talk a big game. Go to any DE, above, down, inside out, nervous system, doctor, safety pin cycle, BJ Palmer, green books. Yeah, let me visit your office. Let me visit your office. I want to read every entrance form. 99% of them, neck and back pain. Come to my office. Everyone's welcome. 80% of them, non-neck and back pain. Now, don't get me wrong. When it comes to musculoskeletal, I get the most unparalleled, spectacular results. We have people flying in from all over the world for that too. I had a woman come recently. She was told by 2 chiropractors that she needed neck surgery. 2 chiropractors looked at her MRI, said she needed neck surgery. 2 surgeons agreed. She came to me. I'm doing seated rotary brakes on her now. Her neck is completely healthy. So musculoskeletal, no problem. If anyone follows MMA, BJ Penn, probably one of the most famous MMA fighters of all time, in 2004 was told that he needed neck surgery and to retire. He was already world champ. In 6 visits, I had his neck perfect. And he had herniated discs in his neck. He was told he needed neck surgery. He tried other chiropractic, acupuncture, medicine. Nothing worked. He was just about to get surgery and retire. In 2004, we fixed his neck up in 6 visits. His neck's been perfect ever since. And anyone who follows MMA knows that BJ has had his ups and downs in his career, but you never heard about his neck again. So whether it's musculoskeletal or not. But anyway, 2 years ago, I'm like, you know what? I have this amazing practice, but why should people have to fly? I mean, I have 12 patients from freaking Malaysia alone. I'm like, why should people have to fly in from all over the world? I'm going to teach everyone. So I made an online course. It's freaking spectacular. We have 450 members, chiropractors, chiropractic students worldwide. We have some chiropractors who were like, man, I was ready to hang it up. I was depressed. I was ready to retire. Now I'm in your zone school. I can't wait to go to work every day. My practice is great. I have doctors in the school saying, hey, you know what? I was high-level AK, high-level functional medicine, high-level chiropractic neurology. Now I'm in your zone school. I spend 1/10 of the time with a patient and get 10 times better results. I have doctors in the school who were saying, hey, I was already seeing 600 a week. I was super successful. And now I get much better healing results. One of the owners of Pinnacle, which is a very successful group, he sees 600 a week. He's one of the owners of Pinnacle. He said to me, Dr. Pete, I've learned more in zone school in 2 months than I've learned in 20 plus years of practice. And I'm one of the freaking owners of Pinnacle. So we have all kinds of doctors who come. We have chiropractic students. And I tell all the chiropractic students, in 2 months of zone school, you're going to know more about healing than all your teachers. Don't tell them that. You don't want to upset them, but that's how it is. That's how it was for me. Why was I adjusting half the faculty? So I opened the zone school, and the way the zone school works, just to kind of answer the question fully, when someone joins the zone school, and I believe you put up 2 links, it's $14.97 for DCs, $500 off, or $9.97 for DC students. I believe you both put the links up. Hey, if you're a DC, don't click the DC student link. We'll find you out. Anyway, so the thing is this. So you join the zone school, you get immediate and lifetime access to 35 hours of me teaching on video. You're set with that. You also get 8 weeks live Sundays. Every Sunday, 1:30 Pacific time, I do a live mentoring call like this, video call with as many students who are eligible. Ask anything you want. We have a certification process. We have live events. We have an advanced program. It's awesome. And it's money back guarantee. So if anyone takes my class and doesn't like it, it's free. Just get your money back. We don't play any games. We don't say, oh, we're going to deduct the credit card fee. We'll send you the money in 5 months. No. If you paid $14.97 and you don't like it, we credit your credit card $14.97. That's it. So one of 2 things will happen, chiropractors, and one of 2 things will happen, chiropractic students. Either join, and it will be the best decision you ever made in your healing career, or get your money back. That's it. There's no other option. Either you won't like it and it's free, or it'll be the best thing you ever did in your healing career, and you'll be psyched. And just lastly, I do teach live events, and I've been teaching one per month. I'm teaching one in Hawaii in November, Newark, New Jersey, which is kind of near New York, where I'm from, in December. And I taught in Holland, I taught in Vegas, I taught in Atlanta twice, I taught in San Diego, I taught in LA. So, a lot of, oh yeah, by the way, my in-person events are open to Zone School members and non-members alike. So you don't have to be in Zone School to come to a live event, although I kind of recommend it, but you don't have to be. And the live events are open to chiropractors and chiropractic students, and we have a discounted rate for chiropractic students for the live events.
Awesome. Awesome, Doc. I absolutely love everything you said. I took great notes, and I want to cover them and get into them nitty-gritty in detail after we thank our sponsors here. Every chiropractic clinic needs a compliance program. If you are not sure what that includes or why you need one, let Dr. Robin from RHDC Consulting help you build your chiropractic compliance. If you are ready to get started, head to robin-hale.mykajabi.com and let Dr. Robin guide you to the end result. Imaging Services' primary business is chiropractic solutions. With over 45 years in the industry of helping chiropractors, Michael Tokash offers free consultations on building your business. In the past year, Imaging Services has installed over 100 X-ray machines and digital X-ray systems in over 42 states across the United States. For more, head to theimagingservices.com. The 56-day chiropractic boot camp, building badass female chiropractors who are instinctively successful. Head to 56daychirobootcamp.com/legendary for your free Endless Referrals cheat sheet now. Thank you for allowing this brief disruption to take place. And now back to the program. Sweet, Doc. Thank you so much for that introduction, that breakdown of zone technique, zone healing, and what it really means to chiropractors and chiropractic students alike. Because, everyone, I feel like in the chiropractic world, right? We're continual learners, right? We're forever learners, and we always want more out of anything that we invest in and anything that we go into. And we tend to go, all in on one thing, and we become very, very good at it. As you said, we like to call ourselves masters at whatever technique we want to go into. But that, like you were saying, there's been a lot of bashing back in the day, and that's still going on to this day. I mean, you can't get away from it, unfortunately. But here's the thing, is what you've created is absolutely amazing. I've watched the videos. I've talked to you on the phone. I've talked to you on the phone, all about zone technique, all about zone healing, how, not necessarily specifics and nitty gritty of how it works, but just realizing like there are multiple ways to heal a body. And the way that you've taken MMA and boxing and all of these backgrounds and incorporated it into this healing paradigm of chiropractic, that's what's pretty cool, right? So I want to let everyone know Dr. Pete knows exactly what he's talking about. He's been around the block. And if you're interested, like he said, those links are in the description. So please, for students, hit that link. And then for docs, hit that link. And it'll take you right there to enroll. And you'll be in with Dr. Peter as soon as you do that. So, Doc, with that being said, I wrote down one word during that whole talk that was like my main word, and that was results. You talked all about results, and that's what matters, right? It's like, it's not about, yes, is it about the symptoms? Is it about the person, how they feel? Is it about, clearing the spine? Is it about helping them with extremities, living their everyday life a little bit better? Absolutely. But it's about results, right? What type of results also are you getting, right? And these aren't like, oh yeah, I fixed Susie's plantar fasciitis, right? It's like, no, this is big time stuff. Like you were saying, people are coming to you from all around the world for big time things. But I think we have to take this into the chiropractic realm and say, hey, or keep it in the chiropractic realm rather, and say, hey, look at this. If we know the power of the nervous system, if we truly understand the power of the nervous system, it's amazing what can happen and the results that you can get when you actually are working in tune with the nervous system. No, like in your case, zone technique. In other people's cases, whatever technique you choose to do in your office, but you have to be increasing your results. And increasing your results, I would argue, starts with your intention. What is your intention approaching that person? What are you trying to help them with? And all of that stuff. So without further ado, I also wanted to mention this, that you said, DD, the founder, went from symptoms and he has a whole book and, a whole glossary on it. And then I also wanted to mention Gonstead did the same exact thing. Gonstead used to treat people from all around the world because of different symptoms, and he would adjust specific bones. He has protocols for different segments of the spine that help with specific cases, which is, this pretty much the same thing DD did, and then now what you're talking about, which is amazing. So I want to go further into zone technique. How does it work? Where do we start, right? And you don't have to share everything because you have a whole program to share everything with us. But where does it start? What are we looking for? And what are the different? Because I know there's different systems. I've done a little bit of research myself on this technique. Talk to us a little bit about why are there 6 systems or 5 systems, and then you can go as far as you want with that. Go ahead, Doc.
Okay, a couple things. So first of all, I just want to make one comment about what you said about intention, and then I'm going to answer the question because you said a lot of stuff. I just want to say one thing about intention. First of all, intention is great, and I agree with you. It's awesome. It's not enough, though. I'm not saying that you said it was enough. I just want to make clear to all the chiropractors out there, it's not enough. Many chiropractors talk about intention, but they get 1/100th of the results I get. So what is it? I have better intention? No, I have knowledge. So intention plus knowledge of the principles of healing will get spectacular healing results. Now, if a patient comes into me, like I just give an example. One came into me a couple months ago. I think she's about 30 years old, and she was having frequent gallbladder attacks, and she tried many things. I think she tried quite a few things, natural and non-natural, you might say. And finally, she went to the hospital, and they said, look, you need your gallbladder out. You don't need your gallbladder out like today, but you need it out like in the next couple of weeks. So that was her chief complaint. Like, that's on her entrance form. She's basically saying, save my gallbladder, like balance my body so I can have a healthy gallbladder and can keep it. Well, anyway, long story short, of course, that's where we're at. Her gallbladder's fine. She has no more gallbladder attacks. Her gallbladder is totally healthy, and she'll never get it out. But the thing is, most chiropractors can say whatever they want, but they don't have that kind of confidence. They just don't. I don't care what technique you do. And there may be exceptions. There may be someone who's doing some high-level AK or something. I'm not saying AK is better than other stuff. It just came to my mind. But they might be doing some high-level stuff where they're like, no, I'm gonna take care of this woman's gallbladder, and she'll keep it. But most chiropractors, you can talk subluxation as much as you want. You don't have the confidence to look them in the eye like, yeah, no problem, however you want to phrase it. But I do. And that's one of about 1,000 examples. I've had people come to me who had debilitating abdominal pain that were told they needed hysterectomies. I had a 28-year-old woman fly to me from Canada. She was told she needed a hysterectomy. She had terrible, terrible, terrible pain. And they told her she had about a month to get a hysterectomy. She never got one. Totally, totally healed. Most chiropractors, no, sorry. So you got to be realistic with yourself, number one. Number two, the zone school, to answer your question, sorry to bring it to such a somber note, but I wanted to get some realism here. Now, on a happier note, the zone school is actually, it's a very happy note because you can join the zone school and do what you say you're doing. Not you, but whoever else is listening who's not doing it. The zone school is a little part zone technique, which I'll talk about. You asked that specifically. And it's a big part, the principles of healing. I teach the principles of healing 80% of the school. 20% of the school is the zone technique itself. So the zone school of healing is the principles of healing and the zone technique. Now, the zone technique, and on a physical level, I'm not talking mental or spiritual or metaphysical level. On a physical level, the zone technique breaks the body up into 6 systems. Glandular, that's all the glands in your body. Eliminative, that's all your eliminative organs. Nervous system, you're familiar with that. Digestive system, everything that digests and assimilates your food. muscle system, all your muscles, and circulatory system, all your circulatory apparatus. Now, every single cell in the body is in those 6 systems. So when a patient comes in to me, no matter what I hope Johnny comes and films an episode and interviews everyone in my waiting room and say, hey, why did you come to Dr. Pete? What are you here for? You're going to be in for a surprise. But well, actually, not a surprise because I told you, but you'll see it. And you can come film it for one of your shows. But anyway, so every cell in the body is in there. So when someone comes to me and they're there for their liver or their blood sugar or their blood pressure or their reproductive organs, or like, for example, I had a woman come now it's been a couple of years. I had a woman come who was, someone's coming in the gym, sorry about that, but it's okay. I had a woman come in who was told she needed, woman came in, she had 3 miscarriages. So she got pregnant 3 times, 3 miscarriages, no kids, right? That's her chief complaint. Her chief complaint is, I can't hold a baby, right? Okay, no problem, let's balance you out. In a month later or so, got pregnant, now she has a 2-year-old. That's just a regular day at the office, right? And there's endless, stories like that. Now, when it comes to those 6 systems, the brain is divided up into 6 different parts. Now, I'm going to brush through this very quickly. It's explained deeper in the zone school. The brain has different centers that control these different systems. There's places in the spinal cord to stimulate, and when you stimulate these places, it resets the brain centers in question. So, the zone technique is not an intersegmental bone moving technique like a Gonstead. Not that Gonstead's not great. In fact, it's probably one of the best ones. It's not like a technique where we say this bone is out of place, putting pressure on this nerve. The zone technique says, what if the brain is not sending out the right signals in the first place? What if the brain is not balanced? So there's points in the back of the head. Now, by the way, some people go, oh, the points in the back of the head, it's like SOT. No, it's not like SOT. It's got nothing to do with SOT. SOT has 7 points across and 3 levels up and down. That's 21 points. The zone technique has 6 points across. Nothing to do with each other. And the zone points tell me completely different things of what the SOT points tell people. So nothing to do with it. However, I feel the back of the head. The points in the back of the head relate to the brain centers and tell me where to stimulate in the negative pole. I'll explain positive and negative pole in a second. Where to stimulate in the spinal cord. So it's a spinal cord stimulation technique to heal the brain. You can stimulate it with a hard adjustment, with a soft light touch adjustment. You can stimulate it with an activator. I personally never use activator or instruments, but I have many, many, many students in zone school who use the instruments and the activator. As long as the cord is stimulated, the brain will heal. Now, the body is like an electrical machine. The brain is the positive pole. The cord is the negative pole. So again, we feel the back of the head, and in 10 seconds, 20 seconds, we'll know what's happening in the positive pole, and we know exactly where in the negative pole to stimulate. For me, it's a chiropractic adjustment. Someone else might be an activator click. And in 3 minutes, or 2 minutes, or 45 seconds, whatever, you've reset that part of the brain, and that patient is walking out of your office with a brain that's communicating properly with their cells. So that's a basic explanation of the physical aspect of the zone technique. There's a lot of other aspects of the zone technique, and what's being taught in zone school, that's just the physical aspect of it.
Awesome. I absolutely love it, Doc. Zone technique is really cool in the sense of it's quick too, right? It's quick and the results are high. So, I mean, if you're a high volume doc out there or you're looking to be a high volume chiropractic student, when you graduate, zone technique is a great thing for that. Talk to us a little bit about why it's quick and can everyone become to the level of efficiency that you've attained?
A couple things. So, first of all, I'm glad you mentioned that. I want to tell you something I hear all the time. And literally, I feel like not a week, well, I don't know about that. Maybe not 2 weeks goes by without me hearing this. So I'm going to say, I hear this about twice a month, but I've been practicing for a while, so it adds up. Patients come in, they have whatever the problem. They go, I was going to an AK doctor for the last 5 years, and I'm maybe 30% better. Each session is 45 minutes to an hour. So each AK session is 45 minutes to 60 minutes. And they go twice a week for the last 5 years. They're 30% better. They come to me, and in 4 weeks with 2-minute sessions, they're 100% better. So, yeah, can I do more in 2 minutes than most chiropractors who don't know this can do in an hour. Yeah, do it all the time. On top of that, when people come, like, again, I don't have too much musculoskeletal, but we have some and we get great results. If someone comes and says, hey, Dr. Pete, I'm this first visit, I've had this low back issue for 10 years. I'm kind of managing it through chiropractic. It's never really better, but I get adjusted. I said, I don't manage anything. I fix stuff. In a month and a half, your low back's going to feel perfect. So you're able to do that on just a musculoskeletal level with the zone technique. Now, as far as two more things I wanted to say to answer your question. That was one. Two, I mentioned Pinnacle. Pinnacle is a very successful practice management group. I think they're in Omaha, Nebraska. These guys see like 4, 5, 6, 700 a week. They're very successful. They do everything prone. They do like 3 or 4 segments prone, and that's it. They have like several owners. They have a lot of co-owners. Several of the co-owners are in zone school. These guys are super successful, and they spend like 45 seconds with a patient, and they've completely integrated the zone technique with the Pinnacle protocol. So now they're getting the success of the Pinnacle protocol because they're very business-minded, and they're getting the healing results that the zones bring. So yes, it can be incorporated into high volume. And lastly, you asked, can other people do, what I'm doing? And my answer to that is, I'll just quote Jesus, not that I'm religious, not that this is about religion. In fact, I'm not even Christian, and not that I'm comparing myself to Jesus. However, as he said when he did these great healings, all these things I do, you can do an even greater, because he was saying that he was using a principle of healing that he was sharing with his disciples. So what I'm saying is, again, I'm not comparing myself to Jesus in any way, shape, or form. I'm just making that point. Yes, everything I'm doing, everyone can do, and even better. Why? Because the zone school, I'm just teaching the principles that I use. So it's not like I have any kind of energy flowing out of my hands that you don't have. I just understand certain things that most chiropractors have no idea about. And when they join zone school, they learn it pretty quickly. Now, if there's, someone watching this and they've, chiropractic student who's indoctrinated into Gonstead or network or upper cervical, or a chiropractor who's watching this, who's, been doing Gonstead for 20 years or upper cervical for 20 years or network. Hey, listen, it's fine. I mean, I don't care what you do, but at the end of the day, it comes down to results. When you're ready to do what I talked about with the liver, the gallbladder, the uterus, good for you. But most people aren't. And if they ask themselves honestly and they look in the mirror, they know they're not. But you join zone school, you'll be able to handle that stuff like nothing.
Absolutely. I love it, Doc. I absolutely love it. You are amazing. And because I want you to talk to the students specifically here and in your closing remarks and say, hey, this is what you can do now to get started on your path to success as a chiropractor. So before we do that, we're going to thank our last sponsors. And then I want to give you closing remarks and saying, hey, chiro students out there, you're going to rock and roll. And here's how you can do that. Cool?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. Dr. Stu Hoffman, founder and president of Chiropractor Malpractice Insurance, is the foremost expert in both risk management and risk avoidance. Understanding the everyday challenges of today's practicing chiropractor and the current public perception of chiropractic has made Chiropractor the fastest growing malpractice insurance program of the last 28 years. Find out more at chiropractor.com. The IFCO is here to support you. Whether you are a chiropractic student, doctor of chiropractic organization, or member of the public, the International Federation of Chiropractors and Organizations is here for you. They recognize and support your right to practice and receive vertebral subluxation-centered chiropractic care and are here to ensure that right and spread access to that care throughout the world. Head to ifcochiro.org/legendary for more. Be sure to give our friends over at Chiro Hustle a listen. They are bringing together some of the biggest names in the profession and learning from the greats. Chiro Hustle creates a safe space where chiropractic leaders share their stories and their passions with the world. Let's get hustling by heading to chirohustle.com now. Thank you for allowing this brief disruption to take place. And now back to the program. Cool. So, Doc, Without further ado, give the chiropractic students a little something to take away from this whole thing. How can they best start and prepare themselves for providing the best care, results driven, that they possibly can when they graduate?
First of all, remember, like Dr. Johnny just said, it's about results, because anyone can talk a good game about this philosophy, this technique, that technique. Go visit a chiropractor, see what they can pull off. Come visit me. Come visit someone in zone school. That's number one. Number two, become a good adjuster. Like as you actually practice more and more, you'll see the physical adjustment means very little in the healing. It's just that while you're a student, you might as well have a good foundation of being able to move bones. So, don't get fancy. Just know, can I move the neck? Can I move the thoracics? Can I move the lumbars? Can I move the sacrum? Can I do a side posture? Do I know how to adjust the foot, the knee, the hip, the fingers, the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder, whatever. I mean, things like that. Just make sure you're a proficient adjuster, nothing fancy. And as far as the zone school goes, I mean, it's pretty simple. If you're a chiropractic student, just click the freaking link, and you'll thank Dr. Johnny later, and you'll thank me later. Because listen, it's $500 off. It's $997. You're gonna spend your money on stupid shit anyway. You might as well spend it on this, and you're gonna be making the best investment you could ever make. Having the foundation of a zone school while you're still a chiropractic student is priceless. So I would say join the zone school. And if for some reason, I can't imagine this happening, but if for some reason you're like, you know what, I saw the interview with Dr. Pete, it sounded really good, I joined the zone school, but I don't like it, we'll get a refund. Get your $997 back. No problem. No hard feelings, no questions asked. So I would say join the zone school. You'll be thrilled. I mean, what I'm saying is compelling because you don't hear anyone else saying this, but I can back it up 100%. And doing the zone school, and anything I'm saying about how good the zone school is, I'm not even doing it justice. I can't do it justice. It's better than I'm saying. And not a day goes by, maybe a day goes by, but not basically five to 7 days a week, I get a message from one of these 450 zone school members, chiropractors or chiropractic students, just thanking me, being like, hey, Dr. Pete, this didn't only change my practice, it changed my life. I hear it all the time. I mean, daily. Maybe let's say there's 365 days in a year, 355 days, maybe 10 days I miss. So I would say if you're a chiropractic student, click the link. And if you're a chiropractor, click the chiropractic link. It's still money back guarantee. And thank Dr. Johnny later.
Awesome. I appreciate you being on the show, Doc. I thank everyone for watching, tuning in, watching this on replay, listening to it on audio podcast. I thank you for supporting the efforts of the legendary chiropractor community and online virtual space that we're creating for chiropractors and chiropractic students to really just learn from different people in this profession, from the student to the doctor. Doesn't matter. I absolutely love and appreciate every single one of you. And I thank you, Dr. Pete, for being on the show. And I hope that this message gets spread as far and wide as it possibly can. And I will chat with you in the very near future.
Dude, Johnny, you're a great guy, man. You're going to go far in this world. Like I said at the beginning, I'll say it again. And I'm glad we're affiliated. If I could ever help you, never hesitate to ask.
Absolutely, Doc. I appreciate you, and that means more than you'll ever know. Thank you, sir. Bye, everyone.